Welcome back. The team has the number. 3 years to clear a 6-month backlog. Now the most important discipline in the whole method. Before you fix anything, you find the cause. Not the symptom, not the villain, the cause. Because the obvious fix, the one everyone in the room wants, is almost always aimed at a symptom. Tonight, working late, Nadia's team digs. Fishbone, 5 whys, a hypothesis put to the test. And just as they find the real cause, the CFO walks in and freezes the budget. This is the low point. It's also where the project gets good. Start wide, the Fishbone diagram. Every possible cause of overdue KYC files sorted into families. People, not enough trained reviewers. Process, no proactive trigger, so files only move when someone complains. Systems, the core banking export and the compliance tool don't talk, so everything is rekeyed by hand. Materials, customers don't know which documents they need, so files bounce. You're not solving yet. You're refusing to fall in love with the first explanation. Cast the net wide, then narrow with evidence. Let's build it. I'll use the LeanProjax platform, the Fishbone tool in the KYC assignment. Nadia enters the causes the team brainstormed, sorted into those families, people, process, systems, materials, and a shape emerges on the screen. Most of the branches point at 2 bones. The process has no trigger. Nothing tells the bank a file is going stale until it's already overdue, and the systems don't connect. Humans move data between them by hand. The diagram just narrowed 6 suspects down to 2 prime ones. Now we go deep on the strongest suspect, the 5 whys in the platform. Why are files overdue? Because they're only touched when someone flags them. Why only then? Because no system flags them proactively. Why not? Because refresh dates live in one system and the work happens in another. Why the gap? Because nobody owns keeping them in sync. Why? Because when the process grew, that ownership was never assigned. 5 whys. And we've traveled from a symptom, overdue files, to the true root, no owned proactive trigger. A root cause is a hypothesis until the data agrees. The team believes the missing trigger is the big driver, so they test it, not with opinion, with a comparison. Take the files that happened to get an early manual nudge versus the files that waited for a complaint and compare their cycle times. If the trigger matters, the nudged files should clear dramatically faster, and the difference should be too large to be luck. This is hypothesis testing, the bridge from we think to we proved. Here's the test. In the platform's hypothesis tool, a 2-sample comparison. On one side, the files that got an early nudge, on the other, the files that waited for a complaint. Line the 2 columns up, and the story is impossible to miss. The nudged files clear in single digits and low teens. The ones that waited drag out into the 20s and 30s. That's the discipline of hypothesis testing. You don't argue about it, you set the 2 groups side by side. And a gap this large, this consistent, across every file isn't luck, it's cause. The missing trigger just went from a hunch to the thing worth fixing, with the evidence to back it. And then, the low point. Margaret, the CFO, reviews the numbers and delivers the blow. The budget for new compliance hires is frozen. The team's instinctive fix, throw people at the backlog, is dead on arrival. For a moment it feels like defeat. But look closer at what the analysis actually said. The root cause was never too few people. It was a missing trigger and disconnected systems. The freeze didn't kill the fix. It killed the wrong fix and forced the team toward the right, cheaper one. So here's where we stand. The real cause is proven. No proactive trigger, systems that don't talk, and the expensive, obvious fix is off the table, which is exactly the position where great improvement happens. In the next episode, the team does the most satisfying work in the whole method. They choose the fix. Not the flashiest, not the most expensive, the one the evidence says will work, that the frozen budget can actually afford. And they pilot it on one branch to prove it before betting the bank. See you there.